Hey guys, so here bringing you another video. Welcome to another OP.GG review video. I haven't done one of these in a while, so I thought, why not? They're good content, like pure educational content, really. But just to explain how it works, right now I'm streaming on Twitch, and basically I'm just doing a bit of a special one that any Twitch subscriber in chat today has a chance to get it done. Normally it's a little bit of higher tiers, but I'm in a good mood, so we're just going to do anybody's. So we're starting with a guy called Being Free. His actual Twitch name was Ariride 10,001. So it's a Diamond 2 player in promotion to Diamond 1. This is, I would say, probably the highest rating person we've actually had in this series. And like I've always said in the past, use this videos to, and again, the reason why I like doing them and I release them to the public is because you can view yourself within other people's profiles, and if you go, oh, I'm similar to that, then it's advice for you as well. But always take these as a pinch of, salt, because I don't know, like, you as a person. I don't know your strengths, your weaknesses. I'm just going off raw statistics here, and statistics don't tell the whole story. Like, that's why I never take win rate like on champions as a way to tell if a champion is strong or weak, because otherwise why would Azir get nerfed at a 44% win rate? There is always more to the story than just statistics, but that's all I can go off here. But anyway, as I said, highest rating person I think we've had so far. We've got Diamond from since season 5, Diamond 4 to Diamond 2 to Diamond 1, so a good progression there. In back promo to Diamond 1 in your series. We're just going to go rank solo. Quite a lot of games, but that's completely fine. You're in a good rank. You're within the top 0.01 of your server, which is great. So let's see. You're mainly, it looks to be a jungler. Kha'Zix with a negative win rate, worth noting. So 170 games, 166, 124, 88, 80. So you play like a lot of games. A little bit of duo queue, or maybe that's like, again, the higher rating you go, sometimes you don't even duo queue with somebody, but you just keep getting the same people over and over again. Let's just quickly have a look at how many champions you've played. So you've played quite a lot. 82 champions in, what was it, like 1,200 games? 1,1300 games. Again, that doesn't sound a lot, but what you've got to look at, and again, for a Diamond 1 roughly player, you probably know this yourself, but from 63 to 82, so 19 champions, you have just lost one game. And that's 19 losses there. That could have been wins, that are just losses. Again, I always do the random check. That are you playing these champions because you know them? Well, again, 4-10, 4-9. Every now and then there's some champions, or 3-11. There's some champions that clearly you probably shouldn't have played at all. But, again, there's some here. So from 49 to 54, there's another bunch of champions you got 2 losses on, mainly feeding on them. So if you try to, like, stop that habit, well, there could be just another 25 wins. And if you won those games instead, well, you'd be easily in Diamond 1 by now. So that's just the first thing, and again, that's just the basic thing. One thing I will say, and again, what we can point out is usually in these episodes, one of the most basic advice for people is control wards. Well, look over here. Control wards, control wards, control wards, control wards. None there. Control wards, control wards. So that doesn't seem to be an issue here. Kill participation. Again, I've always said if you want to climb, you need to be stuck in. You need to get involved. I've always said about a 60% kill participation is what you should aim for if you do want to climb. Average kill participation is 51, which again, I'm saying if you really want to climb, and probably the higher rating you go, the harder that is. So for being, again, this is where I've got to like adjust, because for being in a Diamond 1 rating, 50% kill participation isn't that bad. And if you look within, well, there's a 74 there, there's an 81 there, and there's some lower ones, but then it goes back to 75. So I don't think even that's a big concern. So mainly, like, I do think you know what you're doing. Again, at the moment, you're higher rating than me. I would just say keep with champions you know how to play. Like, it's interesting here that this does tell a story. 49% win rate in 170 games on your most played champion, which is Kha'Zix. But then when was the last time you played Kha'Zix? Like, it hasn't been within the last few games, so potentially you've even dropped Kha'Zix recently. Which, again, for a negative win rate over that many games, I don't blame you. But then also you should be continuing playing champions that you've had greater success with. Nocturne, 57% win rate, good KD, a lot of games. When was your last Nocturne game? I haven't seen one recently. And again, if you really want to climb, use those champions to the maximum. you know, right now it does seem that you're doing Graves a bit, you know, and that's good, 60% win rate. And it does seem maybe recently you've picked up Gragas. So that, yeah. So just basically keep to your strengths, stay away from your weaknesses, and really, like, get rid of the urge just to play the random thing occasionally. And it does seem like you're definitely not a one-trick or anything like that. Look how many games you've got here. Like, you've got a lot of games and a lot of champions, so it looks like you're a fairly well-rounded jungle player. Don't know what your off-roll is, because all of those are junglers. Where is your off-roll? Maybe top? Possibly Jack. Well, that could be a jungle too. Like, again, you can confirm in Twitch chat, but potentially you could use a stronger second role, because yeah, it does seem that top lane is your second role. So maybe expand into top lane a bit more and flush out that pool a little bit. But yeah, like, again, the higher rating you go, the less you need to be really told by people. You know what you need to do with climb. You've been Diamond 1 before. Just really curtail doing the random stuff and just keep going with your strengths, and you're fine. Like, you need, like, you're basically like the stereotypical good jungle solo queue player from what I can tell. Like, you know, great KD. It looks like you play more carry orientated junglers. Most of your champions have good win rates. You've got pretty good kill participation. It looks like you do control wards a decent amount, but every now and then you aren't. So yeah, honestly, I'd say that is completely fine. So well done, dude. Like, you'll be Diamond 1. You're in promo again. In a couple months' time, I'm sure you'll probably be master in the way that you're going. So yeah, really well done. All right, so if there's another Twitch subscriber that wants to throw their link in the chat, feel free. Yeah, no, really good. Again, like I said, it's just a case, like, probably flush out your top lane pool a little bit more. Like, I personally don't even think Cho'Gath would suit you by your champions that you play over here as jungle. I'd recommend not Cho'Gath, because your style looks to be a bit more carry orientated, and then you're jumping on Cho'Gath. To me, that seems a bit of a contradiction in your play style and stuff. So I'd go for something more like, you know, you play Camille jungle, play Camille top. You already know the mechanics, so why not? All right, next up. Bit of a switch in the old ranking a little bit. So we have a Diamond 1 promo player to a Bronze 1. So hopefully we'll have some good stuff to share. So let's swap that over to ranked only. So we're in Bronze 1 now. Not many games. Again, the least amount, like, the less games you play, the less I can go off, which obviously I'm sure most people realize. But yeah, 59% win rate, but only about 40 games played. So again, limited games. Does seem like a lot of Aatrox recently. So let's just go through and see what we can find. Already straight out the bat, I'm sure most people can probably notice one thing is your deaths. So if you look here, just the basics, 6.9 is more than your kills. 7 is more than your kills. 6.1, it's less, but still quite high. 10 is, you know, 5, 8, 9. So straight away, we need to limit that. Like, as I've always said, it's better to not die than also get it, like, risk going for the kill. Like, in a situation that's like, oh, I can get a kill, but I'm probably going to die, and it's not 100% you're going to get that kill, I just don't go for it. Like, just back it off. It's better to not give the enemy team gold, and it also depends what type of player you are. Like, again, if we look at kill participation, your kill participation isn't bad. So it may seem that you do get stuck in, which is good, but I'd potentially just be a little bit careful about your deaths. Farm-wise, again, only going off, like, recent games, we're quite low. So it's a 22-minute game, 94 CS for a top laner. 40-minute game, a bit better. 40-minute game, 172. 23-minute game, 122 on Annie, which is a free farming champion. So we need to get those farm numbers up. And again, this is something that I personally need to do as well. What I'd recommend is, while, let's say, I upload a league discussion, jump into training mode and just practice farming. And again, a lot of people underestimate that, because a lot of people always say, like, oh, it's not really proper practice because in a real game you'll have people harassing you. This is true, but if you get better and basically get perfected CS in practice tool, it will help. Like, the way that I would recommend training in practice tool with last hitting is farm until you get perfect CS. So wave after wave, get 6 out of 6, 6 out of 6, then the cannon wave comes, get 7 out of 7, get all the minions in practice tool, and that one wave that you muck up, that's when you stop. And if you want to keep going, you completely reset, like, you exit a practice mode, go back into it and practice it again. Keep practicing, and yes, you're not getting harassed while you farm, but it will help 100%. And that's actually something that I'm going to definitely do when I get back from vacation, because it's something that I probably needed to do probably over a year ago and I haven't. So that's something that I recommend out the bat. But yeah, basically the basic advice, and again, I could give a lot of advice, but I always try to keep it kind of minimal, because there's no point flooding people with information when it's kind of big things they need to work on. Fix the big things and then we can get into the smaller things, but it's mainly limit those deaths, and that's an active thing that you need to do to basically in your mind go, oh, I'm not gonna go for that kill because it's gonna kill me. So just like limit that, and then also practice that farm in the practice tool, and I think you'll be completely fine. All right, so next person, I can see already the link, so we'll just keep going from the links in the chat that people have posted. All right, let's do an update's already been done. Rank solo. So this is on North America once again. We're now in Silver 5. We've got a negative win rate overall. You're in the top 1.2 million players on North America. But let's have a quick look. Okay, so something off the bat that we can notice straight away is your top played champion has a negative win rate. 59 games, 36% win rate. Obviously, that's not good, but then what I also like look is, are you still playing that champion? And the answer is kind of yes. Your recent games do still show Caitlyn. So right now, if I had to say something just right off the bat, is just drop Caitlyn. It's not worth playing. Like 60 games, bad win rate, bad KDA. To me, it's just not really for you. If you want to climb, and again, that's what that's what all this advice is about. If you want to climb, then drop it, in my opinion, and that's only my opinion. If you care about having fun and you find it really fun, keep playing. But that's kind of the limit. And you know, if you do find it fun and you're like, oh, it's my fun champion, I want to keep playing her, I'd recommend just jump into normal games, or even just take Caitlyn into flex queue instead of solo queue. But it does seem your Olaf is a recent jungle pickup of yours, and it does seem to be going okay. You've played 11 games, got 82% win rate. But again, those deaths, man, got to really limit those deaths. Like, again, it's always kind of the lower rating people that we do this. I've always found deaths are like the biggest factor to why people aren't playing great or doing well. You can see here 8. 8 is a very common number. What I'd want to see in those averages is really 4 or 5 is your average deaths, not 8. That's way too high. And again, if sometimes you can be a bit more lenient if it's a support or a tank. It's like, oh, you're playing a tank that has to go in the middle of the enemy team. Well, you're tanking for your team. Okay, you have an average of 8 deaths. Okay. But when you're talking like Vel'Koz, Gragas, like even Gragas nowadays, Fiddle, Tryndamere, Olaf, like to me that's a bit too much. So I would say, like the last guy, focus more about not dying than going in and going, I'm going to try and kill somebody, because it doesn't seem to be going well. So just limit those deaths, which also in essence limits how much gold the enemy team gets, which also helps you win. So let's see if we can point anything out. So you've played how many games? So around 140 roughly games. So in 240 games, sorry. In 240 games, you played 45 champions again. A bunch of them, 34 to 45, 11 games. You played a champion once. And as you can see here, like we do every time, 312, 312, 15, 29, 011, 09. So you're playing occasionally champions that you just don't know how to play, just randomly in solo queue. Drop that habit completely. Again, here, two games on Zyra, 3.5 to average 10 deaths. So again, it's fine to pick up new champions. And again, you know, you've got some games here. Well, 0-8 on Akali, but you won that game. 0-10 on Leona, you won that game. Only pick up new champions and play them in ranked when you're confident about them. Like, look, your Ornn right now is 6 wins, 0 losses, but still has quite a high amount of deaths. Only pick up things and play things continuously when you know how to play them, because you're just giving free losses out. And again, that's probably why you've got a negative win rate. Look, your negative win rate, you've got 14 more losses than you've got wins. Well, that's two things. One, there's 11 of those right here that are losses that could have been wins, or at least half of them. And your second one is this champion here, that you're not very good at Caitlyn, but you're still playing her, and you've got a, you know, what, 17 more losses on this champion than victories. Add those just two things, that one champion Caitlyn and the random games played, and there is your negative win rate gone. them two things. So there's just one thing to note, and that's something that I'd want you to improve on, is drop Caitlyn, in my opinion. Don't play random champions. Keep with things that you're strong on. So what I recommend is keep up with your Vel'Koz, keep up with your recent Olaf. Right now, that is probably the biggest two things I can recommend. And just look at the win rate and be smart about it. Like, you know, the Caitlyn negative win rate, drop it. The Gragas negative win rate, drop it. The Tryndamere negative win rate, just drop it. Just get rid of that stuff that is just no longer good for you and focus on your positive win rates. And again, this is where I say, you know, because some people get confused. Huz, I thought you said win rates don't matter. Personal win rates are good. Overall champion win rates don't mean that much. So your personal win rate on Olaf is good. Your personal win rate on Ornn is great. Your personal win rate on Taric, 3 wins. So keep with the things that you're doing well on. Your Vel'Koz, good. Drop the things you're not, and you'll probably have a much better time and a lot easier time. Other than that, let's have a little bit of a think about more control wards, shall we? Not being purchased every game, and when they are, it's a maximum of 1. So that's just also something to worth note. But anyway, you'll do fine. Just keep with, like, you know, playing stuff you know, and I think you'll end up being great. So, yeah. All right, let's keep clicking on some people. Again, going to be going for about half an hour. We've been going for 15 minutes, so we're about halfway through now. We're now on Brian the Gamer. We're on North America still, so today has been a relatively North American-centric episode. So we're in Silver 2. We've got just over 600 games played with basically a 50% win rate. Ranked history, Silver 3, Silver 4, Silver 3. So it hasn't been much improvement over the past few years. But we're now in Silver 2, so there has been an improvement this season. Let's see, though. So, as for your champions, got a 97 games is most Malzahar. Already we can see a negative win rate there in the KD. Zed, pretty good. Veigar, pretty good. Not bad. So it does seem that the champions that you do play a bunch of, it does seem to be working quite well for you. Your recent performances, apart, let's ignore that one. And let's ignore that champion. Screw you. It seems to be going quite well. So, potentially you're a bit on an uptick at the moment. Because your recent games, you've got a 75% win rate in your last 12 games. So that's obviously pretty good. So let's have a quick look. So again, one thing off the bat we can notice is control wards. Again, 1 control ward here. 2, as a jungler, you'd expect that. But then none, 1, none. So control wards is the first thing we can mention. Last hits are a little bit low on the, you know, the lower end, 150 in a 27-minute game. 30-minute game, 135, but that is jungle, I guess. 40-minute game, 166. So potentially you can do the farming trick that I spoke about earlier, practice it a bit more, and you'll probably like help yourself out quite a bit. Kill participation, not terrible, you know, 55, 49, 33, but that was the rough game. 40, 68, very good. How many games? So again, over 600 games. For 600 games, you've played 76 champions. Again, basic thing what we do is set 62 to 76. So there is, what, 14 games there that are all losses from probably champions that you only have played once or twice. Probably not worth doing. Again, they could have been turned into wins. Up here, from 52 to 55, 2 losses on these champions. There's another 8 losses there. These 2 champions, Jarvan and Vel'Koz, 3 losses. There's another 6 losses there. LeBlanc, 4 games. There's another 4 losses there. So you see what my pattern is building. Lux, another 4 losses there in comparison to the wins. If you kind of get rid of that itch, there's like, we just at least counted 25 probably roughly wins there. If that was 25 wins instead of losses, you know, you're on your way easy to Silver 1, maybe even Gold. So that's just worth noting. But already, like, we can just say the basics is just keep with the champions that you know how to play, and it seems to be going pretty well. Like, you know, you only need a 51% win rate to climb. You've got a 50% overall win rate, but recently you've been doing quite good. So obviously your win rate used to be negative overall. But have a look at this. So you got 51, but then there's a 63. Keep playing Veigar, high win rate. 62, keep playing Swain, high win rate. Those are things that you should be kind of like latching on to. You know, Talon, drop that champion. Kha'Zix, drop that champion. And just kind of keep playing the things that you've got a record of doing well with. Hey, like, I hate to say it, but your Zoe's not doing bad. Keep playing that stuff, and like the more, like, if you just take a month, let's say the rest of the month, we're in August, you just take the rest of the month and go, I'm only going to play these 5 champions that I've got a track record of having a very good win rate with, and that's all you play, those 5 champions, and then see where you end up at the end of the month. See where you end up and kind of go, oh damn, I'm now gold. And then Bob's your uncle, you've climbed, you've had fun, because clearly you're only going to play the champions you're having fun on, and you're doing well on them. That increases the fun level. And there you go. So that's the basic advice that I can give. And again, I only give basic advice in these videos because it's not worth doing crazy, like, in-depth advice. What I could go maybe a bit more in-depth in certain people's cases. A lot of them, again, it's just raw stats, and sometimes you can't go off much. I don't want to speculate too much because it could be wrong. Yeah, no problem. Updating that. Rank solo. Okay, so we're now on EU Northeast. We're in Silver 1. We've got a very close win rate, but is slightly positive, which is great. Season 6 was Bronze 3, now Silver 3, now Silver 1, so good improvements happening there. Great KD on Fizz right there. Right, so where are we? So highest played champion is Aatrox. Let's just point that out straight away. Again, probably know that yourself, but let's just point that out. Right, so a couple things to mention. Good win rate, good win rate. Very bad win rate. Not good. Okay, right. First thing, control wards. Said it a few times. So you're buying control wards in some games and not buying them in others. So 1 control ward, 2, none, 3, but you're on a support. None, 2, 1, 1, 2. So control wards, let's do a bit more of that. As for your games, you've got how many? 100 and roughly 80 games, and you've played 69. Way too many champions, way too many. For that amount of games, if you want to be a good solo queue player, I'd probably be expecting 20 to 25 tops, and you've played 69. How many of those? So again, from 60 to 69, there are 9 losses there that were not needed. And again, track record, 1-6, 5-10, 2-10, 1-6. So clearly champions that you're just playing randomly. You've got some 1 wins. So again, if you're having good performances and you actually know these champions, well then continue playing them. Don't leave it at 1 win. You had a great game on Twitch. Where's another game of Twitch? Where's their 3rd game of Twitch? If you do and you are good at Twitch. Or Ziggs, you did good on Ziggs. Where's more games of Ziggs? And again, there's 6 losses there on champions that you probably shouldn't have played. There's another 6 losses there on champions that you probably shouldn't have played. Again, it's a basic pattern that we are doing most of these op.gg reviews, so I'm really hoping that anybody who doesn't get one of these, like, you know, you're just watching the video or you're in Twitch chat right now, you can do this to your own profile easily. Like, it's just worth noting, and you're kind of like, oh, I do that too. So let's just go over what you should be doing, your strengths. Well, drop Aatrox as my basic advice. Negative win rate, negative KD. For a top lane, a relatively low farm on average. I would say drop him. Again, you probably picked him up when he came out because he was new. For excitement, I don't think it's worth it at the moment. Your Nasus actually seems to be quite good. Nearly 200 farm on average. And also a pretty good KD, so I'd go with that. Your Swain, not bad win rate. Little bit low farm and also negative KD, so got to be careful on that. Your Kayn looks to be not bad. See, your Kayn's farm is like nearly equal to your Aatrox's farm. And it's like, you know, a top laner versus a jungler, and also a better KD. So, you know, stick to your strength. Your talent doesn't seem to be bad. Drop Yasuo in a heartbeat, my friend. Bad win rate and a lot of deaths. Drop that champion. Gangplank doesn't seem bad. Potentially pick up that champion. Like, again, good KD, good amount of gold. So potentially look to play Gangplank a bit more. Sion doesn't seem to be bad apart from high deaths. So it does seem you're another person that I would say you need to calm those deaths down. So when you're in a game of League, even if it's just for the rest of the day, if you play solo queue later, have in the back of your mind, don't die. I'm not dying anymore. If I go for that 50-50 kill, I'm not going for that kill. Just do that and see how it goes. Also worth noting, in the past 7 days, you've played 4 games of Fizz. You've got a 100% win rate. So obviously that's something that's going relatively well. So yeah, just do that. And again, so basic advice is don't play any champions. Again, very basic advice has been most of this episode because most people are doing the same thing that's wrong. Don't play random things. Keep with your strength. Buy more control wards and limit the deaths. So yeah. All right, so we're going to probably do 2 more, maybe 3 if we can squeeze it in. Let's do Mr. Mathy. Alright, so we're now on EU West. Let's update just to make sure it's up to date. Rank solo. So we're in Platinum 5. We're in Promo to Platinum 4. Got a good win rate there, 52%. As for the rating of the player, was gold. Then went down to silver, even down to silver 4. I'm guessing you couldn't play as much. But now you're up to Platinum 5, the highest rating it looks like, which is great to see. Anyway, looks to be you're a big Lux player, but even in your recent history doesn't appear to me much Lux, so maybe you're phasing yourself out of being like a one-trick, maybe. Which is good to see in my book. But anyway, let's have a look. So, you are a mid lane predominantly player. You play a bit of jungle, a bit of support as your second roles. So your Lux, obviously, a lot of your games with actually a very good win rate and a good KD. So you do seem to be a very good Lux player. So I've said to people, I don't recommend being a one trick, but don't drop the champion for that. Like, keep playing it. Like, you know, what I'd advise is don't play Lux every game so you're so dependent on Lux. But, you know, in your important games, jump on Lux. That you're in promo now to Platinum 4, which will be your highest rating ever. Sure, play one game of Lux just to kind of get that win in if you're very confident. That's fine. That's great. That's what maining champions is all about. Maining champions is fine. I just said say don't one-trick a champion, and it seems that you're going, you know, you're stopping that, which is awesome. Seems that you've recently picked up Vladimir, so we'll have a look at your overall Vlad stats in a minute. But yeah, Rammus pretty good. Again, this is where I say, like, you know, I always say for carries, wins and losses are kills and deaths are important, but for Rammus, this is a fine KD. Those assists, comparing to the deaths and kills, perfect. Like, that is actually a very good Rammus KD, to be honest. Swain, like, again, to the people that we did earlier, that I said, hey, I want to see your averages being lower. This is a good example of what I want to see. Instead of those being 8s, I want to see 3.9, 5 on a tank, 4.6, 3.1. This is the example that I want to see of people. And even if that means, and as a lot of people will see, even if that means that you're averaging getting less kills, the win rate is good. So that's what I'd say, is this is a good example of that. And if you continue doing what you're doing, you're probably going to keep climbing, because it's a good thing. Anyway, control wards, not bad, but probably could be thinking about them a little bit more, because again, there's one here, there's two here, there's one here, but there are some games that there are none. Again, some games you don't need them. And again, this is what I mean. This is raw statistics. This could be a game that you're like, oh, the jungler was just simply never coming mid, so I didn't need to buy them. That's fine. But yeah, let's have a quick look at how many champions. So how many games? You've got about 300 games, just a bit over. 300 games, 45 champions. So from 38 to 45, one champion. Again, there's losses there that could have been avoided. 111 Vi, 511 Viger, 39 Poppy, 511 Azir, 312 Zoe. So again, basic advice, don't need those losses. You know, not worth. There's 4 losses there. Don't need those losses. Don't play those champions. Got Renekton, 3 losses there. Don't need those losses. Xerath, 4 losses there. Pyke, 4 losses there on you know, a negative win rate. Don't need those. Keep with your strengths. So Lux, big strength. Rammus looks pretty good. Other win rates. Leona looks pretty good. Zac looks pretty good. Thresh is not bad. Kai'Sa, good KD, 50% win rate. Probably could play more Kai'Sa. Karthus looks pretty good with a good KD. Again, Karthus is one of those champs that's okay to have a higher death because that's part of your kit. Over 200 farm on average, so it does seem farming maybe a strength of yours. So that's good. Where's your Vladimir? You picked him up recently. Am I blind? There he is. So you picked up Vlad recently, and it doesn't seem to be going great because it's a negative win rate and a negative KD. So again, this is about, again, I always say about 20 games is where I determine if you should keep it up or not. And again, I'm not going to say it clearly, but it's up to you. It's a very close negative win rate. So if you enjoy it and you want to keep on going, go for it. But, you know, it's up to you. If you think there are things that are stronger and you can keep going with, then just focus on that. But if you're like, no, my Vladimir can get there, then keep it up. Like, that's fine. Again, there are some performances here on Vlad. 9-3, great. 3-1, good. 9-3, good. 9-3, good. 6-10, not great, but you still won the game. 1-5, not good. So there's a mixed bag of performances here. But on average, if we look at on the past, you know, few Vladimir games, they've been mainly wins. It's what, 1, 2, 3, 4 wins and 2 losses. So maybe when you picked up Vlad, it wasn't going good, but maybe you've learned him a bit more. It's getting better. So that's where I'd say, yeah, keep going. But then, you know, negative win rate on a Nivea after 46 games. Is that worth continuing? I'd probably say no. So it's just being smart about it. Continue with your strength. And again, one thing I've always said to people, and again, I know some people go extreme. If you are a one trick, again, I don't think it's a terrible thing because it's your video game. If that's what you enjoyed, that's fine. But if you are phasing out of being a one trick, it's okay, and that's great. I'd prefer people not to be one tricks, but that doesn't mean you've got to completely drop Lux. Because in your recent, you know, amount of games, Lux is by far looks to be your best champion. There is no Lux here. Doesn't mean you need to quit the champion cold turkey. So I'd say play Lux when you're like, oh, I'm just going to play Lux, we're going to get myself a win, and you're confident. And I'd keep that up. So yeah, that's my basic advice. So hopefully that does help. Anyway, I need a drink because my throat is getting really dry. Oh, all right, let's do a couple more. Just clicking on random ones now. We're getting Hypera. We're in the EU West. Let's just update just to make sure it's up to date. Rank solo. Okay, we're in Gold 4. Negative win rate slightly. Nothing to be that sad about, though. It's only 6 games. And I'm sure we'll be able to spot why those 6 games are there. Let's be real. All right, so are they like gold KDAs or whatever the color that is? That's good to see. All right, so already we can see off the bat, good Lux. Not bad Azir, but very low involvement. But can't argue with the personal win rate. Great Xayah, great Xin. Okay, so let's see where the negative win rate is coming in. It's only 6 games, but where? Found it! we found the negative win rate. There we go. From 42 to 57. So what's that? That is 15 losses that could have been prevented if you didn't play random champions, and your overall win rate is 6 losses in the deficit. So we found why you've lost, and you've got an overall negative win rate. So if we really nip that in the bud and stop you doing that, well, instantly, if you didn't do that, you'd no longer have a negative win rate. So that's the basics. Then you've got a Victor here with 2 losses. You've got a Zoe there with 3 losses. So again, if you just add up all this basic stuff, again, these add up. Like a lot, again, if you, again, even here, add up all of these losses, right? Add all of them up in your negative win rates. There's a lot of games there. So be careful and just get rid of that and you'll be fine. And again, this has been this bit, like, of today's episode, this has been the key lesson, easily. I want everybody watching this video to go on your profile and just look how many of these just random 1-loss champions you have, how many 2-loss champions you have. Add it up and you'll probably see, damn, that's like, if those weren't losses, I'd be way higher rating now. And again, the moment that you think that, because so many people want to be higher rating, the moment you get that into your head, you stop doing that, boom, you start climbing. Instantly. Because you just don't have those random, you know, losses. So, yeah. Alright. Let's have a quick look. So, wow! Whoa! Holy moly! So as for a control ward example, this may be a bit like too many control wards. So you've gone from extremes. 6, 7, 4, 9, 10, 4, 7, 7, 11. Okay, so I will say, that's great, but you might be spending too much gold on control wards. So look at this. In this game, you was very involved. You spent in excess of 800 gold on control wards. That's a lot of gold just to be spending on control wards. Again, sometimes it's needed, and vision is obviously very important. That's a lot of gold for control wards. So I wouldn't, don't buy them just for the sake of buying them. Buy them when they're important to buy, because otherwise sometimes they're a bit of waste. But yeah, like it's good to see, don't get me wrong, but be careful with overspending. That there is such a thing as overspending on control boards too. So as for my basic advice, again, very similar to the others, drop the habit of just playing random champions. Stick with your strengths, which do seem to be Ari and Xayah. Your Azir doesn't seem to be bad at all. Your Xin seems to be doing great, so pick him instead of the Jarvan. Again, I don't want to accuse you of anything, but it does seem maybe, again, this is where it's only statistics can say, you might be a bit of a KD player, because again, your KDs are very good, but they are in kind of the low numbers, if that makes sense. So maybe you're quite passive and you're very careful, and there's nothing wrong with that, but make sure if your team needs you, do get stuck in. Because what I wouldn't want to see is like you're playing Xin and like you don't go in on purpose, where like, you know, oh, my AD carry could get a double kill here. Your AD carry could get a double kill here, but I'm not going to go in because that will get me killed. I wouldn't want to see that. But honestly, if you keep doing what you're doing, you stick with champions you know, you'll probably start climbing. Because again, you're only in a 6 loss deficit. And again, like I said, if you just play champions you know and not do this, well, that's gone instantly. And just keep with the strengths. Strength. Potentially you need a couple more strengths. Okay, Twisted Fate doesn't seem to be bad. Maybe look to play that a bit more. Limited games, but your release. But yeah, like if you look at all these stats, a lot of them are quite low. So maybe you do need to get stuck in a bit more. Because like, but your kill participation is not bad either. Weird. Maybe the games that you play, there's just not many kills. Odd. But anyway, I think you'll be fine. Just keep doing what you're doing. Play what you know. Definitely keep up with these two champions and you'll probably climb fairly easily. Alright, so we're probably going to do one more. And voila. Okay, so again, we'll just make sure it's up to date. It's up to ranked only. My throat is absolutely killing me right now. But what are we? We're mainly a top lane player with a bit of jungle thrown in. We're in North America. We're on Silver 1 with a pretty good win rate, 56%. So that's a good sign to continue the climb going. Nars the most played, then Aurelia, then a Riven, then a Varus randomly, and then some jungle with Zed and stuff like that. Okay. So. Control wards, we can just say basics. You know, 1, 1, 1, 2, none, none, 1. So it might be worth looking at. Does seem you're a duo queue mainly player. Again, I dislike duo queue players. I'm going to be honest. Again, I like people achieving a rating by themselves, but that's just me. Usually I don't like doing reviews for duo queue players because it's hard to know if it's actually you that's good or is it your duo partner that's good. Kill participation is a little bit low. Farming seems to be relatively okay. Champion-wise, how many games? Just under 200. For 200 games, you've got 46 champions. So from there, 6 games could be avoided. A lot of 1 games. Again, ask yourself the question, if you're having good games on champs, why is there not more of them? So a very good Xerath game, where's another Xerath game? A very good Fizz game, where's another... Well, actually, no, that's a lot of deaths. A very good Shyvana game, where's another Shyvana game? And a very good Misfortune game, where's another Misfortune? Should ask yourself those questions. Again, same story here. Good on Lucian, where's more Lucian games? Good Veigar, where's more Veigar games? 4 losses on Yasuo, don't play that champion again. I'd actually say, if we get to the end of the season and I see this number above 4, shame on you. Don't play it anymore. Don't play it at all. Like, the KD's negative, the win rate's not very good, so do not play that champion. If you've got the urge to play Yasuo, go in a normal game. Don't play it. So your strength, well, actually, your KD is a bit meh on Gnar, so I'd probably say you need to focus on not dying a little bit more than you're currently doing. Aurelia seems to be pretty good because you've been picking her up recently. Riven doesn't seem to be bad, but a negative win rate, so you potentially need to get more involved with your team. Zed looks to be pretty good, so maybe a little bit more Zed, just focus on the farm on him. Varus actually looks to be pretty good. Honestly, it sounds weird. Have you considered swapping to AD carry? Because your stats and win rates on them are actually a lot better. Like, your Aurelia looks good, sure. The other of your top laners seem to be okay. But, like, look, your Varus stats are great with a good win rate. Your well, your certain AD carries anyway. Where's the other one? Your Draven, 2 games, looks to be pretty decent. Your Lucian was fantastic. You won 1 game or 2 games with Tristana. Great Misfortune game. So maybe AD carry is in your cards. I'm not really sure. Possibly. So have a think about that, potentially. But yeah, it's a simple story, again, of continuing what you're strong on. Again, if I had my way, I'd actually advise not duo queuing, but that's just me. Some people need a duo queue partner to climb, and that's where I actually have problem with it. If you need a duo queue partner to climb, then I actually don't think you deserve your rating. So ask yourself the question, is it because you're duo queuing you're climbing, or do you think that you would be climbing anyway? Again, to me, that's important. To a lot of people, it's not. But yeah, just keep on doing what you're doing. Like, if Aurelia is your bread and butter at the moment, keep playing that. Throw in the occasional champion here and there. And I'd always advise to make sure you know how, like, if you play a certain champion, so you've recently picked up Aurelia, I'd also advise you to pick a champion that is good into Aurelia. Because if you ever get into the situation that you are then against Aurelia, oh damn, they picked my champion, where if you know how to beat that champion and you play the counter to that quite well, you'll probably snowball like crazy. So that's something that I would advise. Potentially pick up a counter to an Aurelia. So something like, Mundo or something like that would probably go quite well, or Fiora. And I think that would probably be a good fit for your champion pool at the moment. But also potentially start playing a bit more AD carry and maybe a little bit more Zed too, because your Zed actually has a good track record. But again, you've got a good win rate. It's a good sign. If you keep doing what you're doing, you got a 56% win rate overall. You lost 18 games. You've got a 61% win rate. So you're on the right path that you'll probably keep climbing. Again, my only thing that I'd personally say is just be careful of duo queuing. Again, you may be completely fine with it. Some of the community may be, but I personally hate when people climb with duo queuing, especially if they've never been in a rating before. So it's, yeah, you're in your highest rating you've ever been. Ask yourself, am I here because of me, or am I here because I'm duo queuing? If you achieve gold for the first time ever, oh, I got gold. Am I gold because I'm a gold player, or is it because I duoed here? It's worth thinking, in my opinion. And the reason, because a lot of people say, why? What happens if you get to a rating solely relying on duo queuing and your duo queue partner stops or quits or goes on a break? Are you then screwed? Are you no longer that rating of player? Those are the type of questions I think you need to ask yourself in the long run. But that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Again, I like doing these. Went a bit longer than I thought, but they always do. If you guys did enjoy, throw a like on it. If you've got any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I'll try and answer some of them. But yeah, that's going to be it. Like, subscribe. See you guys next time. See ya.